So this run came with the warning label. Ooh, go with that. Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to, ooh, that looks like a kind of spicy roundup. We'll see what I can do. Welcome back to some more Peglin. I've modded the game further. Ooh, this is a good starting round. Let's aim for the crit. We do no damage. That's expected. Bam. Yeah, that looks about right. Oh no. Okay. So I'm only gonna do this run once. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna throw a splat orb into the mix. I can only imagine that's gonna be amazing with this. So I made it to the Matryorbshkas relic. Matryorbshkas like 8 times or something like that. It straight up had a warning label when I was setting up, and it's like, how many times do you want the Matryorbshka to split? And I'm like, well, as many times as possible, really, is the answer. But it actually says, like, if you go further than 8, it might melt your computer. And that's truth. This is going to be a bit of a zigzag if I can pull it off. But boy, if I can pull it off, I will be a happy camper. Or if I can't, oh well, it's fine. I got a couple of these really wild mods that I want to play around with. I don't know how many we actually managed to splat there, but I figure if I can get this up to level 3, I bet it could get kind of silly. Or break my computer. Either or. Oop. I'm just glad I don't have the gift that keeps on giving yet. I probably should start with that, all things considered, but you know what, whatever. Boop. Like, it's kind of fun. It's almost innocuous at first, and then it's just death. This is probably going to be one of the most imbalanced runs I ever do in Peglin. But it was kind of just like, yeah, what happens if I do crank this up? What happens if everything is Matryorbshkas? I figured I'd throw in the goo just for the extra oomph. We had some interesting bounce action going on there. This makes me think I should do like an interesting Orbsium run. Oh god, Memorb is probably stupid with this. I don't even know what that would do. Nice part is, level navigation is going to be real easy because I'm hitting every peg like a gazillion times. Oh no. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. I might need to turn this down. Just duke. Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's proper frozen now, I think. Yep. Oh. Made another frame. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to finish a run like this. That's a shame. Let's just give that another shot. I'm gonna include that just for the sake of funny. Wow. That's not bad. That's not a bad start in the slightest. Alright, so I've toned it down a bunch. It's now half of what it was, which actually is a lot more fair. It's a shame because that last run was stupid, but unfortunately my computer is just not mighty enough, or the game just can't handle it. I don't know. Both are probably valid. It's still a lot. It's just not so much that it covers the entire stage. Let's grab the splat orb. I probably should have started with that, but whatever. Let's add a little bit of drama to this while I get the splat orb to level 3. Ha! Now there's, like, no drama. I don't know why I shot for the crit. There's no reason for it. Still not bad. Like, obviously, it's not everything is Matryorbshkas, but it's enough Matryorbshkas that, you know, I feel reasonably confident that this is going to remain kind of stupid. Damage is also wacky. Huh. Interesting. The splatted orbs persist. I was thinking I'd be able to just kind of always have it cleared out, but I guess splat overrides. Alright. Works for me. And we get... sure. Okay, am I going left? I'm going left. I should probably plot this out at this point. Yeah, we want to hit one of these. I don't know. I'll decide what to do once I get to that. So in the meantime, yeah, we want to go over here. And that's a lot of bombs. Let's go splat orb first. I mean, we're going to delete everything here. Some of the bombs will survive, looks like. Not many, though. Might actually be a bit of a whiff. Oh, well. No, it's not going to be a whiff. There goes all the bombs. Yeah, it'll take a little bit. If we get the gift that keeps on giving, I will be a happy camper. I really probably should just start with it, but I don't know. Oh, shit. That actually is, like, capable of doing damage. Nope. Nope. Damn it. Well, it's fine. We don't need it anyway. I started with some relics. Just... Unfortunately... Oh. Oh. Oh, that was different. It was, like, locked. Oh. Click aim. I don't think I turned that on. Well, I can always try and turn it off. Whoop. Nope, it's back to normal. Okay. Yeah, I probably shouldn't try and reroll these things too much, but it's just kind of like, oh, but I wanted to go fight the mid-boss. I like having control. There we go. I think it's weird. I don't know, something about this year with the roguelikes I've been playing, some part of me has lost part of my interest in the procedural generation aspect that a lot of roguelikes thrive on and pretty much are reliant on existing. I don't necessarily know... Oh, I should have... Nah, it's fine. I don't know. I think it's just kind of one of those where I felt like my life is mildly on loop, and there's kind of that constant desire for something fresh and interesting, and so roguelikes often provide that, but it's kind of exhausting when you end up on the exact same run that you've already done before, or if you're like halfway to a really cool run, but you know you just can't get that last thing. I don't know if you guys have seen me play Backpack Hero, but arrows, you know, I'll go on a bow run and it'll be like, here's one arrow for the entire run, and I'm like, but there's like a build that I really want to go for, and it's like, too bad, sucker. I just have to deal with it. I think that's kind of fine, but I think it's also one of those where it's like, you know, maybe if it was like one in every couple of runs, if I could do something like this. I realize for Peglin at this point, every run is effectively a de facto custom run for me. Because at this point, I'm just doing the really goofy things because I can. Nah, I don't really want any of these. There we go. Rallying Heart, I mean, sure. Let's go here. Take out this mid-boss. It should be easier than if I go question mark navigation. That always seems like it's bound for failure. Maybe. I don't fully know. There's a lot of splat. That's a lot of splat. Just hit the refresh on the way out, and it'll be glorious. It'll get there. Oh, it happened again. But at least, you know, we're going at 3 seconds a frame. There we go. How much damage was that? Like 200,000? Yeah, I don't think I hit 1 million. Yeah, I didn't. It was a good shot though. Time for it to happen again. It makes like the worst sound. You guys don't even have to deal with like the full volume version because I compress all of my audio. Yeah, the overwhammer would probably be kind of rad here. Frankly, I might just start skipping the Matryorbshka. Because honestly, the splat orbs are kind of more fun. Like the Matryorbshka. Oh. Bingus has said, my brother, let me drive. And I've said, I have no choice in this matter. Take me away. Not every level is going to be like that. In fact, I'd say the spiderweb and that spiral are pretty much the two, almost two. There's one more. I hope we fight the Vor wall. That'd actually be kind of nice from a design perspective. If like I could actually oh whoops. I'm gonna skip that, but instead we just are going to Matryorbshka. There's not really a whole lot of tension on this run. If you've noticed. The last couple runs, even though I've been busted strong, there's still kind of that feeling of like, yeah, this should be fine. I don't know. I'm gonna add an ice circle to the mix. Give me an AoE. Wall chicken. My logic is this way I can use the ice circle for the next region. And also ice circle is kind of fun. Skip that and tally ho, splat me up. Oh, which is gonna mess up the ice circle, ain't it? Oh well. That happens, that happens. I'm not super invested in this. There we go. I'm gonna do a decent amount of damage, but still. Here's what other orbs would be fun with this. I'd love to try it with the Orbsium. Just to see what would happen. Like just the densest, heaviest orb just multiplied by like a ton with the glorious suffering. I don't actually think it would be that good. Well, I mean it could with the right combination and obviously this level of multiplication. But it'd be kind of fun if it just went and just sludged its way through, like didn't even bother. I guess I could crank gravity up like crazy. That's another option. I don't know, there's a lot of things that I can do for this game. And like we've already the mods are already going. Let's duplicate a random orb. Splat orb level 3 has been upgraded. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I've seen a couple of like really nasty comments being aimed at this game talking about how like you know, modders have already started, or, you know, all content creators have started, like, really relying on mods. And that Red Nexus is, you know, not doing enough or something like that. It's like people haven't played early access games before, is, I guess, the easiest way to put it. I guess I'm just gonna grab the Cursed Mask, because the other ones just aren't gonna do much. Because Kinetic Meteorite might be funny, but we're just... Ooh. Let's see. Kinetic Meteorite might be funny, but we hit the reset almost immediately. Like, there's not a whole lot of nuance on these rounds. There's some, but it's mostly just chaos and destruction. Chaos. Oh, I gotta go back and finish Stranger in Paradise. Oh, that was quick. There we go. Perfect. At least we're mostly going the right direction, but still. But yeah, don't... If you're one of those people that's kind of mad about this game not being done enough yet, don't get mad at the developers. Be patient, find something else to play. Games are hard to make. They're not easy. And it's easy to kind of look at a developer and be like, why haven't you done more? You know, look at how much the modders have accomplished. And the answer is often because so many of these things were available to the developers to start with, and they just, for the sake of balance or fun or something, they decided, you know, they didn't want to, you know, include physics adjustments to the same extent. That I've been able to do. This is a giant problem. You know what? Oh well. We're gonna miss out on a mid-boss? A mid-boss. I could have reset, but at this point, I realize resetting is against the spirit of this run. Oh, I don't think we have the Vor wall at the bottom. Let me double check. Yeah. I think it'll be okay. It's just the Vor wall is special with weird combos like this. But no, it's legitimately quite hard to, like, make video games. And I would agree to some degree that, like, it would have made more sense for Red Nexus to have a whole bunch of things kind of cooked up and ready to go. I was reading a thing from the developers of Crawl, and they were talking about how they would make 8 fun things and only release 4 of them. And so over the course of their game's development, anytime they had some new big change, some new boring patch, you know, bug fixes, whatever, they dole out a couple of those fun things that they had already made. So instead of, you know, making it and then releasing it, it was always just, well, that's useless to me. It was always kind of holding it close to the chest and then saying, okay, you know, now we need to release something. It can't handle it. But yeah, we gotta release something interesting. And I'm trying to think of other developers that have done this, but it seems like a really, really wise idea to almost be a couple patches ahead always. Especially before you even hit early access for, like, one of these roguelikes. That instead of... How much damage is this? 200-something thousand looks like? Yeah. I keep expecting I'm gonna get like a 2 million, but I think I'm gonna need a Critzo Malice Fleece for that. Really all I need to do is get the one that makes it so, refreshes or crits, and then we've got it. Let's see. It's obviously too late for this game, but it might have almost been savvier for them to... I think there was two different ways they could have done it. I think both could have been valid. I think the smartest thing almost would have been to make Acts 1 and 2 really tight, and then just have more orbs and relics, and this is... problematic. It's okay. They get down there eventually. That was a concern. Shit. I really did kind of screw myself over on this one, didn't I? Well, I guess it's fine. I guess there's no refresh point, so hopefully I'll end up in the right spot. I said hopefully. I'm not going to. You know what? It's okay. It doesn't matter. As much as I'd like to accrue as much power as I possibly can, maybe I need to take the game's hint and say, okay, sure. Maybe I've done enough. I don't know. But yeah, so like really polish Act 2. Oh, there's a mid-boss down there. That's good. Really polish Act 2. It's fine. Oh, this is just gonna rip through them, isn't it? It's not gonna get the high crit that we're looking for, but I guess that doesn't matter. But yeah, having a couple of patches to go out like every week. You know, maybe you let the first week be like first week or two after early access be just kind of rest, relaxation, and bug fixing, but then after that it's just like you already have the next patch ready to go, and then the next patch after that or something like that. I don't know. I'm sure various developers have figured this sort of thing out, but the real answer is just like give it a year or two and this game's going to be so much wider, and that's just going to continue to be true and continue to expand over the next couple of years, and then eventually it'll be done, and then we'll have nothing to complain about. But I don't know. I always get kind of a little upset when I see a bunch of people mad at a developer because they haven't done enough yet, and it's like, I don't know. I think they've done quite a lot. I've gotten, how many hours have I put into this game at this point? 31 hours. Like, okay, it's a $20 game. I can see why somebody would, you know, want like 100 hours out of this. But the answer is, I mean, when Hades came out, you like barely could even get into the River of Styx, and even if you did, it was not a pleasant experience. And so the idea of, you know, if Supergiant can't make a roguelike that has infinite content right from the get-go, I think it's okay to expect nothing less, or nothing, sorry, it's okay to expect nothing more from other developers who, I don't know if Red Nexus has ever made a game before. None that I've seen. I can double check. Yeah, oh, Peglin, and then a game 6 years ago called Friday Night Bullet Arena, which, yeah, $10 6 years ago. Doesn't look good, to be honest. I'm sure it's fine, but whee. That worked out. Let's see. What was I going to say? But, you know, not much of a track record. I'd say if... well, I mean, if Supergiant were to put out their next game tomorrow, I would expect generally great things of it. But for smaller developers like this who haven't made stuff, I don't know. I think it's a decent product. And I'm having a good time with it. And that's kind of what it always boils down to, is just like, well, I'm having fun. But it bugs me when I see a lot of people who... I don't know. I don't like the idea of being mad at developers for under-delivering fast enough, because that usually results in just a lot of people that think it's okay to yell at devs and say, like, you know, no. this needed to be done yesterday. And it's like, why? I don't know, you ever work on a creative thing? Like, that shit's hard. Especially like games and graphic novels and videos and a bunch of other stuff. I can barely even get like video essays done. I'm working on it myself. And so, I don't know. I realize I'm just kind of rambling back on this topic, but there's no real answer to this other than like, be freaking patient. Obviously there are situations where the developers are kind of slow in a way that kind of becomes unacceptable. I used to be a big fan of Scrap Mechanic, and that's one of those games where they came out with it, had minimal patches, like they had a number of patches for the first year, and then put all of their spare time into making survival mode because a lot of people had requested that. And I think that was fair. But what ended up happening is that they spent all of their time on survival mode, and it was bare bones as heck when it came out because the game wasn't supposed to be... Hello. I know I should have gone for maybe the other one as well, but you have to have Cryptomalus Fleece before you get the Light Shaft Potion or whatever it's called. So it doesn't really matter. We'll get it, or we won't. Either way, we're gonna do stupid damage here. And so, from my perspective, like, I'm never gonna be angry at the Scrap Mechanic developers for taking too long to add more stuff. Or just being incapable of doing so, because I realize, like, games are hard to make. But I definitely will stop playing it. I think that's usually the more acceptable option. Let's go for the Electro Pegnant. I don't think it's really going to make much of a difference here, but I'm going to grab it anyway. I was really hoping for the gift that keeps on giving, and clearly I need to just starting these runs with it. I'm not even gonna think about how we're going to land these. The game has said, no, whatever build you want is not happening today, so just go absolutely wild with what you've got. Which is to say, excessively ridiculous. I'm gonna turn this off afterwards. As much as I like the Super Matryorbshka, there's no drama here. Like, the game really just kind of buried the lead with that first crash. And then afterwards, we've just been, you know, cruising along, actually. I'd like to come up with some challenges that are busted as heck, but not inherently, overpowered to the point where there's nothing that can threaten me. Maybe, I don't know. I don't mind being overpowered as heck, it's just there's no drama. But, I don't know. I'll go back to this topic. I think it's something I want to do a video essay on at some point, just to talk about, like, yeah, early access games. How to do it well, how to do it not well, and how to respond to it as a fan. I mean, even think Minecraft. If hopefully a number of you are old enough watching this video to have played Minecraft when it first came out, I realize, you know, the longer we go, the more likely, you know, somebody watching this video is going to be to have not been, I'm gonna say, a sentient human being, by the time that, you know, at the time when that game first came into early access, which was like, what, 2009? You know, a 13-year-old watching this video would be as old as Minecraft, give or take. Technically, Minecraft's a little older, and so, like, when that game first came out, it was effectively just an empty sandbox. You can make, like, the Enterprise out of cobblestone, and maybe a couple other things, and that was it. There was nothing. There was nothing to do. It was barely a game. And they managed to actually expand it pretty quickly, as far as things are concerned. As far as things were concerned. Like, it didn't take too many years before it actually got a decent number of features, including survival mode, from what I remember. Is that 1,000,000 damage? Hard to tell. I don't think so. Not yet. Yes, 6 million damage. 7 million damage. 8 million damage. 9 million damage. 10 million damage? I think it actually stopped recording damage after a certain point. No, it was 10,700,000 damage. Nice. But you know, that was like the first early access game, pretty much. There were a number of, you know, AAA games that needed some major patches, you know, after release. I mean, Superman 64, you could argue, maybe counted, except for they never came back and updated it, so I don't know. I'm more in danger from these flames on the side than literally anything else this run, which, yeah, actually doesn't surprise me much. But, I don't know. I feel like, the world would have been a sadder place if people had just been super unforgiving of Minecraft for not developing. I guess I come back to various things, kind of in this vein. Covered a couple of games recently reminiscent of Cube World, and they're all actually really good games as far as I'm concerned. Cube World, not so much so, but I mean, that shouldn't surprise anybody. There we go. But I'm always a little bit bothered by the people that get like super mad at, you know, the Cube World developer for failing to deliver. I think it's valid to criticize the guy for, you know, not delivering on the game to some degree, or at least shutting himself away to the extent that he did. And what he probably should have done was like almost immediately realize like, oh shit, you know, I can't handle this, and then probably processed a bunch of returns for anybody that wants it or something like that. I don't actually know if he did that. It doesn't really matter. But, you know, people wanted access to Cube World, what he had at the time. And I think he was originally somewhat resistant even and said like, no, let's remove an orb. Let's get rid of the ice circle. I'm not really using it. I guess it was kind of nice for clearing the shadow men. Oh well. I sure am glad I have 125 HP because we're going to run into the red bombers and it's going to hurt. But I always feel kind of bad for the guy all the same. Crits refresh the board. I was hoping it would be the other one. There's no real difference between the ones. We just don't want to go left, is the real answer. Or not left. Far right. Brain. Tired. Too much sun today. Oh, this is gonna hurt. But it can't kill me. That's the most important thing. But it is gonna hurt. A lot. I'm very glad I don't have the vamp relic. Well, it's fine. Because now there are no bombs remaining, which means I can just eliminate them one by one and not have to worry about it. But I don't know. I think one of the biggest issues is that game developers are... game development is like one of those industries, not too far off of content creation, where there's like a very direct line of feedback between users and a product in a way that like pretty much doesn't exist elsewhere in a unprofessional setting. You know, Unity has like a very direct line with a lot of developers, go figure. Adobe does not have a very good direct line with artists because they just ignore us, but whatever. But you know, with games and whatnot, anybody and everybody are generally supposed to enjoy them and are able to do so. But that means that anybody and everybody is able to like voice complaints and concerns and criticisms and whatnot in a way that I don't think really exists in a whole lot of, you know, products. It's not like any of us could go complain at, say, Oh, well, I mean, kind of. People can. There's definitely, like, backed by popular demand, or... What was the stupid barbecue sauce? Was it the Szechuan chicken, or... No, I don't remember. There was, like, something that a bunch of Rick and Morty fans went bananas for at McDonald's, and that was a problem. But I think that was more as a result of the TV show more than anything else. But even then, there was kind of, well, except for the poor people working at the time, there was very much kind of a... There was very much like an insulation that the, you know, McDonald's corporate had no reason to be concerned about the people that wanted X or Y. They could just do whatever they wanted. And pretty much no one could stop them or even really get a word in edgewise because they're just so far removed. But with a developer, especially like small ones, if somebody's mad about something, like that's a problem. I could get this, but I'm near full health anyway. And so, you know, when everybody's like yelling about Red Nexus not doing enough, it actually like really does affect developers. I know the developer of Revita, and he, lovely guy, but he definitely took a lot of bad reviews very personally. Often because many of them were kind of unreasonable, or like, oh, you didn't fix this bug yet, or something like that. This hurt. But not that much. Pocket Watch, Ring of Reuse, or Cookie. Cookie's gonna keep me immortal. And I've got to imagine that's true of almost every indie developer that's like working on a passion project game that, you know, people being mad about, nope, dang. People being mad about like Call of Duty for whatever. It'll get back to the developers, especially if people like track them down on the internet. I've definitely seen that happen. I remember when Andromeda came out and people were like hunting down developers at EA to complain at them. EA or BioWare? I mean, both, really. And there was like whole conspiracy theories, some of which I'm sure were actually somewhat accurate. I don't fully know. That's a hell of a lot of bombs. Oh, we didn't actually get to the center of this Tootsie Pop. No. But you know, for indie developers, it's especially kind of tougher because you often are not nearly as insulated. Sometimes it's like just you. I don't know how much damage this is gonna do. I don't think it's gonna be in the millions. It's gonna be 100,000. Yeah, 200,000, something like that, give or take. But it's kind of one of those where it's just like, I don't know. I guess I don't like being partly the... I don't like being partly the party to the idea of ragging on developers, even though I myself do it. But I find a lot of people tend to be a lot angrier than I am. And I've done the whole kind of angry, this thing needs to change. I even did that at the end of one of these videos, now that I'm thinking about it, where it was, when it crashed on me and I was having such a fantastic run. But, you know what? Happens. And, you know, it's better to be mellow about such things. But that, and I always want to caution people when I see it happening, that it very much like, be very careful what you say. Because there's a game that I really love, called Cavern Kings. Came out 7 years ago or something like that, 2006, 2007, something like that. Absolutely fantastic game. It needs work to finish, but I'd done a video on it recently, just as kind of like a, hey, I remember this game and I really enjoyed it. And somebody had actually piped up that they knew the developer, and that, you know, just all of a sudden one day they just could not bring themselves to work on it anymore. And I definitely know that feeling. You know, how many dead Let's Play series have I just left behind? And that's just a Let's Play. And so it's always kind of one of those where it's like, I don't want to say like, treat developers like fragile dolls, but always be careful. Because like, if too many people just are way angry about like Peglin not getting enough stuff, there's a very real possibility the developers will just like shut down and never come back. I know that's not a great way to do things, and neither is that, like, it's not acceptable that way either, because, you know, then they truly have kind of, like, well, I mean, abandoned the game, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It really is, just because it's a hobby project, job, passion project thing where you are so connected to your audience in such a way that, like, you can have that emotional connection that almost, I think, exists elsewhere, but it's so much harder in game dev. Because, yeah, if you lose the will to work on it anymore, it's impossible to come back. And so, I don't know. I just don't want to see too many comments going forward with that. And I realize I've talked about this too much, but it's been stuck in my head ever since this game came out, because there's been that undercurrent of angry distaste because it's not good enough yet. And I'm like, I don't know, I think I'm having a good time. I'm glad that, you know, it's so mod capable already that while the developers work on the good stuff, other people can tinker with the settings and add 30 Matryoshka balls in one shot, because that would never make it into the base game. That's just not functional or balanced. But in a modded run? Hell yeah, why not? Anyway, with all this said, I'll try and be more goofy for the next one, but this run was actually just too strong, and so I was just like, well, alright, time to soapbox. So, with all of that said, I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.